According to the San Francisco Federal Reserve, with 150 years of data,
Yes or no?
Tariffs do not cause inflation. San Francisco Federal
Well,
Reserve.
last November, as
Congresswoman,
the Trump administration finally began to realize
150 years
that
of data.
affordability issues in America are not a hoax.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. You just saw that clip, and honestly, are we even surprised anymore? What we're looking at is a masterclass in interruption politics. Today, we're breaking down the full confrontation between Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Maxine Waters. And if you want a real-time example of the difference between someone who actually understands how the American economy works and someone who just wants to shout past the facts, this is it. Waters comes in trying to play gotcha with a letter from 20 years ago, while Bessent stands his ground armed with 150 years of Federal Reserve data. It's painful to watch a sitting member of Congress refuse to let a witness speak simply because his answers don't fit her narrative. We're going to watch the entire exchange, but pay close attention to the moment Waters realizes she can't win on substance. That's when the interruptions start. Let's get into it.
Secretary Bessent, in the FSOC annual report, you stressed the importance of economic growth to promote financial stability. While you noted many ways you plan to deregulate Wall Street and plant the seeds for another crisis, you said little about the harms of inflation. I find this odd, as the president and you have finally began discussing in the media how the price of goods are way too high. Notably, you mentioned that tariffs may need to come down to lower costs for Americans. So I have a few questions about this. As a former hedge fund manager in 2004, and I don't want you to go into any long details about this, but did you write a letter to investors raising concerns about the impact of tariffs, writing that, quote, tariffs are inflationary? Did you say that at that time, yes or no?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a New York Times article that, agrees that you said that.
New York Times.
Then last summer, when you testified before a Senate committee, you said, and I quote, "There is no inflation. Tariffs are not being passed on to consumers." You were quite definitive and even claimed that critics had, quote, "tariff derangement syndrome." Well, those comments are at odds with the statement you made to investors that tariffs are inflationary. Again, I want to be clear, so just let me ask you, are tariffs inflationary, yes or no?
According to the San Francisco Federal Reserve, with 150 years of data,
Yes or no?
Tariffs do not cause inflation. San Francisco Federal
Well, last
Reserve.
November,
Congresswoman,
as the Trump administration finally began to realize
150 years
that
of data.
affordability issues in America are not a hoax, you told Fox News that the government was going to reduce tariffs on goods like coffee and bananas, and that doing so would, quote, bring the prices down very quickly. Mr. Secretary, why was that announcement even necessary? If tariffs aren't inflationary, and as you and the president like to say, are paid for by the foreign country, a tariff on coffee or bananas shouldn't raise the price of either for American consumers. Well, that's the Trump logic, but that isn't reality. It did raise prices across the board, and you know it. I think you knew back in July also. The real question is, why would you even impose a tariff on a good that a country doesn't grow or make, as that would only serve to punish the American consumer? Now, as you know, this committee has taken a bipartisan approach to addressing another real affordability crisis. Housing. Rents are too high. There aren't enough houses. However, one clear reason that the housing crisis has grown worse is that you and the rest of the Trump administration levied tariffs on housing production goods like lumber and steel, as well as appliances. These tariffs will result in half.
Lumber is
reclaiming my time. You don't get to talk.
Lumber is at a 5-year low, Congresswoman.
Reclaiming my time.
Let's just have the facts,
Reclaiming my time. Thank you. However, one clear reason that the housing crisis has gone worse is that you and the rest of the Trump administration levied tariffs on housing production goods like lumber and steel, as I said, as well as appliances. These tariffs will result in 500,000 fewer homes built at a time when we need more homes built, not less. Trump single-handedly made housing more expensive. And once again, you know it, as Axios has reported that you were planning to lift tariffs on housing production goods. In addition, the unlawful campaign the Trump administration has waged with ICE and Border Patrol, terrorizing American communities, has also harmed home construction across America. So I ask you, Secretary Bessent, will you be the voice of reason in the administration and urge Trump to stop waging a war on American consumers and on housing or affordability and putting the economy at risk? Yes or no? You don't have to explain.
Representative Waters,
Will you be the voice? Will you be the voice? Will you be the voice? Will you be the voice of reason? Will you be the voice of reason?
A study
Yes or
from
no?
Wharton University
Reclaiming my
has
time.
shown
Reclaiming my time.
the biggest reason for the
Reclaiming
housing
my
increase
time.
was the mass
Reclaiming my
unfettered
time.
immigration.
Mr. Chair, will you
let
let
in
him
between
know
10
that
and
when I
20
ask
million
him time
immigrants.
Time does
took
belong
up
to
the
the
housing
gentlewoman
stock.
from California.
10 and 20 million immigrants
Can you
took
shut
up the
him up?
housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity?
Gentlelady's time has expired.
No, my time has not expired.
Your time has expired. And the gentleman,
The gentleman took up my time. I think you should recognize that, Mr. Chair.
the gentlewoman's
He took
time
up
has
my
expired. The gentlewoman's time has
Well,
expired.
if you
Mr.
wanna-
Chair, parliamentary
If you
inquiry.
wanna
Chair,
protect him,
the chair
Mr. Chair.
recognizes the vice chairman of the
Mr.
committee,
Chair.
Mr.
If you want to
Heisinger.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Go right ahead.
My head is spinning, and not because of the economics. It's because of the sheer audacity on display here. Did anyone actually count how many times Maxine Waters said, "reclaiming my time"? Let's be clear about what happened, because the mainstream media will absolutely try to spin this as her grilling Bessent. She didn't grill him. She tried to grill the truth and ended up torching her own credibility. First, the 2004 letter. Waters attempts to trap Bessent over something he allegedly said more than 2 decades ago. He looks her straight in the eye and gives a simple, direct answer: no. So what does she do next? She pivots to a New York Times article because, of course, the Times is the unquestioned authority on unbiased truth. Heavy sarcasm intended. But Bessent doesn't take the bait. He stays calm and points to 150 years of San Francisco Federal Reserve data showing that tariffs are not the primary driver of inflation. And how does Waters respond? Does she counter with data? A competing study? Any evidence at all? Nope. She starts talking about bananas and coffee, a textbook straw man. Then we get to the housing discussion, and this is where things really fall apart. Bessent brings up a basic economic principle: supply and demand. He explains that mass illegal immigration is putting enormous pressure on housing availability for working-class Americans. That's not ideology, that's math. More people competing for the same number of homes means higher prices. But that reality is unacceptable, so Waters shuts it down. Cue the "reclaiming my time" chant. This is a classic bully tactic. When you're losing the argument, you don't engage, you silence. She asks him a loaded yes or no question about being a voice of reason, then throws a fit when he tries to explain the complexity of the issue. And the most ironic part? At the end, she complains that he used up her time. Representative Waters spent nearly her entire 5-minute block interrupting, shouting, and refusing to let the witness answer. This is exactly why people are fed up with Washington. You have someone like Scott Bessent, clearly knowledgeable, composed, and focused on facts, trying to explain fiscal policy while being lectured by someone who has no interest in hearing the answers. Bessent stayed calm, stayed professional, and stayed grounded in data. Waters stayed loud. Drop a comment below. How many times did you count "reclaiming my time"? And do you think Bessent handled the circus well? In my view, he absolutely crushed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dive.